Hello, hello, hello. This is Carib Carter Clues. Welcome to Leslie at Large. Leslie, our woman in Nicaragua, actually has been stateside for a week or two, and is on the way back home to Nicaragua, and is at Miami Airport. How are you at the Miami Airport? How's everything there, Leslie?
It's great. It's sunshine, as you could see, and I'm just hanging out. Everything was smooth sailing. I left Texas this morning and landed and rechecked my bags. I'm traveling for the first time ever. Are you ready for this? With golf clubs. I've never traveled with golf clubs, and I finally splurged and got a set of golf clubs. And now I really have to stay committed.
No kidding. So you bought them in. Now, do you have to pay extra? It seems to me a golf clubs would weigh a heck of a lot.
It was $80. Well, on Southwest, because I only had, you fly with 2 bags free. So I flew Texas to Miami Southwest, so I didn't have to pay even for the golf clubs for that. For Avianca to fly with the oversized bags, it was $80. So not too
Wow.
bad.
I
Yeah.
know one thing people are wondering about is now the ticket you bought was all the way from Texas to Nicaragua, right?
No,
No.
I did my trick. Remember, I told you
Oh,
about the
that's
trick.
right.
I booked Southwest, inexpensive one way. Well, I'd already gone the other way, from Texas to Miami. And then I got my bags and I walked over a couple terminals over to the international and I checked in with Avianca. And there I had my normal ticket, to go to Managua. But
So
it's much better pricing to do it that way.
how much for so the folks, because I know more and more people are thinking of heading to Nicaragua, and I'll tell you how I know in a minute, but how much is the ticket from Miami to Nicaragua?
Yeah, I think from Miami to Managua. Now, if you're buying round trip, Avianca, you pay for each leg. So it was like I think 200 and something dollars. So it's really
Incredible.
not too bad each way. And like I said, if you can just get to Miami right now, that's the best thing to do is just find some kind of quick flight to get to Miami and then go from there on the round trip to Managua.
Folks, that's an incredible price. It cost me more than that to drive up to my vacation home in West Virginia, thanks to Joe Biden's gas prices.
Oh,
That's an incredible price. That is wonderful, folks. Get on the
yeah.
plane and head down. Now, is the is the is are there a lot of expats there where you are right now?
Yes. Yeah, there's ton there. I mean, all throughout Nicaragua, there's expats in, different communities. A lot
Right.
of people, it just depends if you're a Caribbean side or a Pacific side, if you're a mountain person, it depends what you're looking for. But we have expats all over the country there in Nicaragua.
Now, I mean, they're at
And
the airport. At the airport
oh,
there.
well, the airport, yeah, there's a little bit of everything here at the airport. Are you kidding me?
Heading, I mean, on. Let me make myself. I've got to make myself clear here. On the plane heading to Nicaragua, you think it's mostly Nicaraguans or gringos?
Uh, I'm still a little early, so there's not a lot of people around yet for our flight. But usually when I go, it's a mix. Like you can tell the tourists, and you can tell, especially like surfers and things like that, or people going on
Right.
vacation. You can usually tell. And then there's the ones like me that are hanging out a bit longer, the perpetual tourist, I guess you could say. And then you've got obviously the locals and stuff that are flying back as well.
Very nice. Very nice. It seems to me that every time, and I'm not saying this to be cynical, okay, but it seems to me every time that I have flown to Honduras, most of the plane is filled up with people that have T-shirts on that say something to the effect of gringos. Say something to the effect of feeding the hungry in Honduras. I mean, which is which is very nice, but it's like, my God, everybody's heading south to feed the hungry in Honduras. I don't think they're that hungry. They have a lot of fruit and fresh meat, and so, but it's nice of them. It's nice of them nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You see that a lot, groups wanting to go in and help and
yeah,
volunteer, which again, that's awesome. I think it's great. I've shared with you before. I think every teenager should have to go on a mission trip of some sort
yeah.
and do that, experience different cultures, because it's definitely an eye opener.
It is very nice. Now, I got to tell you, in the past 2 weeks, I have heard from 4 Offshore Club members who are on their way to Nicaragua to to move to Nicaragua. Now, that's incredible. It is burgeoning. 4 One of them is a childhood, a kid I grew up with in Baltimore City. He said, look, nobody can
Wow.
afford to live in the U.S. anymore. Where should I go? I said, go to Nicaragua, go to Gran Pacifica and talk to Leslie Lawrence. Okay. My friend Victor. Another is a guy who gave his first job to in Washington. He's almost 80 years old. He said, oh, it's time for me to get out. I'm heading. I said, Nicaragua. Talk to Leslie Lawrence. Okay, you got it. He bought his ticket already. I think he's leaving on the 28th.
I
It's happening.
love that.
It's
Well, tell
happening.
them to come on and come see me. No, I was having these same conversations. Like I said, going home and getting to see family and friends is always so great. But, home is where the heart is. And now that I'm headed back to Nicaragua, that's home for me now. But when I was talking to friends and family, just about the cost of living differences, they're always shocked. Let me tell you, I spent a few days in Miami, and nothing against Miami. Sorry, South Beach. It was fun. But the cost of things, I was in sticker shock, Carter, because I've lived overseas now for so many years. I like a nice martini. One martini, $25. I was like,
Are you
what?
serious?
No, our dinner and just one or two drinks and a nice meal and it was just my friend and myself. I was blown away. I was like, I don't spend this on like 3 weeks worth of food. I was like shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, get me back to Nicaragua.
$25 for one martini. Thank God I sobered up 20 years ago. I, I couldn't afford to stay a drunk.
Well,
Unbelievable.
we were saying not to pick on the young kids, but there were a lot of young ones there running around, and you could tell they were having a good time and having a few cocktails. I was like, how are they even affording to do that? I don't know. It's crazy.
It's crazy. It is crazy. It's just such a, you know, no wonder, you and I have seen the same Zogby report. 26 million Americans are intend to move offshore. 4.5 million to Central or South America.
It's incredible.
Incredible, incredible. And you know better than I because you're there. But I think Nicaragua is it's coming to the top. It's coming to the top of people's list.
Yeah, I agree. I think, for a long time, people just weren't sure about it. It's kind of that, it's obviously misunderstood. I like to say Nicaragua's misunderstood.
Yeah.
But when people come, I've never met anyone that's come and had a bad time or didn't enjoy it. One of my newest property consultants, she came over from Costa Rica, and she was just like, she keeps telling me, I keep sending her messages, while I've been gone, and she's there spending a few weeks. And she's like, these are the nicest people I have ever met in my life. She just can't even believe it. And she's enjoying her time. She was learning how to milk a cow. She was horseback riding one day. She went out to the little local schools. She's meeting people. She's a surfer, so she's obviously loving that experience there. But I love seeing first time people that come and, kind of reminiscing, I guess, about how my first visit was there and seeing it through their eyes again. And I'm telling you, everyone is just amazed once they, get there and experience for themselves.
Blown away. And also, when I tell people, one of the things that I missed when I lived in Honduras was baseball. Okay, baseball. There was one team. There was a Sandlot team in La Ceiba, and I used to sit for an hour and watch them play. And I'm sure they thought this is one crazy gringo. But Nicaragua is their national pastime. Every time I think of all I can think of now. You're too young to remember this, but there was a wonderful skit on Saturday Night Live with the Knights of Columbus annual dinner, and their guest speaker was Chico Esquivel, right? A baseball player, obviously Latino baseball player. And John Belushi said, and now we're going to have our guest speaker, Chico, the MVP of the year, Chico Esquivel. And Chico walked up the podium and he said, thank you. Baseball been very, very good to me. Thank you very much. That was all the English. So, it was probably from Nicaragua. Don't forget, one of the great pitchers of baseball of all time. Who am I? Do you know who I'm going to say?
Oh.
Dennis Martinez. I think Dennis Martinez, won 245 games. He pitched a perfect game. A Hall of Famer. The baseball stadium in Managua is the Dennis Martinez Stadium. So it's great down
Oh,
there. So I love that.
it's a yeah.
Folks, if you like baseball, go to Nicaragua.
No,
It's first class.
they love it, and I haven't gone to a game yet. But one of my friends was mentioning it, and he's going to try to figure out and get tickets so we can take a group and experience that because it's a huge thing in Nicaragua.
It's wonderful. It is wonderful. Just everything is there. Everything is there. And 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 I always tell people now, I don't say to all these 4 people that contact me the last 2 weeks, make sure to buy a home in Gran Pacifica. I think if they're smart, they probably will. But I tell them, look, if you want to live in the top residential resort community in Central America, it's Gran Pacifica. So talk to Leslie and check that out. But also, one of them said, I'm thinking of a place. How about a place called Malaga? So Malaga, up in the mountain area, I think.
Oh, Matagapa.
Can you believe how badly I butchered that? I cannot
Pretty
believe
bad.
it. It was pretty bad. What is it now? Give it.
Matagapa.
Matagapa.
Matagapa. It's beautiful. I've been there numerous times. It's much cooler temperatures there. Nice little town. Everything you could need. Some great restaurants, cafes. Yeah, it's a cool place.
It's fantastic. I've heard it's a fantastic place, and there's some good home bargains there for people who, we're all different. I like all the amenities, so I like a nice residential resort community, and Gran Pacifica is the best there is. As you know, I have a home at La Ceiba Beach Club, residential resort community in Honduras. My front yard is the beach. I always forget to hold my picture of my home up, which is gorgeous. But the front yard is the beach, and it's a wonderful little community. But it doesn't have all the amenities like Gran Pacifica does. But it's only 15 minutes from La Ceiba, which is 200,000 people and everything you can want, beautiful mall. But some people like a one-off. I also own a home in El Calan in Honduras. El Calan is a small community. It's where my wife grew up. So she always wanted a home there. So she bought a home there. Right. And that if you're the kind of person who likes the idea of just living in a small town, El Calan, or how do you pronounce it? Matagapa?
Matagapa. Although
Cool.
Matagapa is not a small town.
Oh,
I mean,
it's not.
a good size. No, it's not real small. It's a nice size.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I got to talk to my friend who's almost 80 and tell him it's a little bigger than I thought it was. he'll find. I'm reminded. He'll find out. He'll find out when he gets there. It's like Richard Pryor used to. Richard Pryor was a very funny comedian when I was younger, and he said he remember him saying one time my uncle was the guard, the security guard at the dam. The big dam in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Well, Johnstown, Pennsylvania, I think 1928, the dam broke and the whole town was washed away. And they said to when the water started rising, the dam started collapsing. Why didn't you warn everybody? And he said, my uncle said, I figured they'd find out soon enough. My friend Brenda's going to find out soon enough about the size. But that's perfect then. Yeah, it's even better.
That is too funny. Yeah, I think he would really like it. If he likes cooler temperatures, that's probably the place to be there in Nicaragua.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice. So what's on the agenda when you get back? Any big events or anything coming up?
Well, it is October, so we are starting to plan our Halloween. Halloween's not something that the locals celebrate, but we kind of brought our customs to them, and we invite some of the local kids into the community, and we load them up on golf carts, and we take them around to all the different residents that want to participate. So we're finding out now which houses are going to have candy, and so we have a little map, and we drive the kids around everywhere, and then at the end we do like a cookout over in the Plata near the ocean, and it's fabulous. So yeah, that's coming up, and then we're planning our next golf tournament, and it's going to be December the 3rd. And yeah, so lots of things coming up. It's exciting.
Very. I got bumped off real quick, but I'm back. And we were talking Halloween. Halloween is not a holiday in Nicaragua.
No, it's not. But we make it one.
But you make it one at Gran Pacifica.
We do, because we enjoy it, and the local kids, and then of course the expat kids They all dress up and we take them around and they seem to enjoy it. It's fun. So that's coming up. I was saying about our golf tournament. We're planning for that coming up in December. I'm going back to Belize in a couple of weeks in November. I have a wedding to go to there, so I'm going to be on the go. But yeah, lots of fun things coming up.
Very nice. You know what just occurred to me when you were saying about the Halloween? Of course, there are no pumpkins in Nicaragua.
Well, now that you
I
say
don't.
that, I
I.
can't say I've seen any, so I don't
It's
know.
a cold weather. It is a fall weather a fruit, I guess it is, a vegetable, whatever the heck it is.
I don't know.
It's
Makes sense.
it's just like my wife had never seen peaches before. I mean,
Oh,
because there are no peaches in
yeah.
Nicaragua or Honduras or any of those places because it again is a fall weather fruit. So, folks, if
That
before you make your move, stock up. Stock up because you're not going to find them at the fruit stand. You're going to find every other fruit, but no peaches. Yeah.
exactly. A lot of differences. Yeah. So interesting peach fact. If we're talking about peaches, I did get to go to East Texas and see. I'm an East Texas girl. I grew up in a little small town there, Pittsburgh, Texas, and I went back and saw family and my 96-year-old grandmother, who still lives by herself. We had a fabulous time. She still wanted to go get her mani pedi, so it was really cute. But we had a good time visiting family. But right outside where I grew up, there are fabulous. They're known for their peaches, and there's like peach orchards and all of that. So there's your little
Really?
peach bag. Yeah,
So it must be a little cooler there.
yeah, it's a little cooler there. It's right up in that northeast corner of
Okay.
Texas.
Okay.
Hmm.
Very, very nice. So you're
Yeah.
East Texas. Now, you on the where you're from? Are you on the Oklahoma border?
I'm close to that. I'm right up in that little thing, so close to Arkansas, like Texarkana, which is the border there at Texas and Arkansas. I grew up about an hour from there,
No
and
kidding.
then the other way, I'm close to Oklahoma too. But yeah, I grew up there. I guess Pittsburgh until I was around 11. Then I moved to a town called Sulphur Springs, which is 80 miles east of Dallas. Stayed there through high school before I went to Baylor University there in Waco. I've lived San Antonio, Austin, so I lived North Dallas. I've been all over Texas.
And of all those places, you like Nicaragua best,
Isn't it
right?
crazy? I know we joke about it. My high school friends, I said, who would have thought? Like, if you would have told me growing up in a little tiny town in East Texas that I was going to end up in Nicaragua one day or Belize, I would have been like, what are you talking about? I wouldn't even known where Nicaragua was probably. So it's kind of fun.
No, you'd be stunned at how many people, when I tell them my wife is from Honduras, they they're totally blank. I remember one time somebody said to me, "Now is that in Africa?" I said, "No, that's not in Africa." But see if you agree with this. The image people have of Central America is almost 100% off.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. It, I don't know why that is
I
really,
don't know why.
but it's true, and that's why I said I like to see people's face, I guess, and when they experience it, because I think they come thinking it's going to be very different than what it really is.
Very different for one thing. And I want to say this, and I hope it comes across as positive,
Mhm.
but I think the Americans have an idea that it's not clean, and it's the exact opposite. I mean, the Hondurans, I've never been to Nicaragua. I'm going to eventually
Mhm.
own a home there, probably at Gran Pacifica, but the cleanliness is just beyond belief. I mean, in the cities that I've been in Honduras, like Tegucigalpa, La Ceiba, San Pedro Sula, you can eat off the street. We get on the chicken buses, and it's 90 to 90 degrees, and the windows are shut, and the people are so clean. There's no odor, except maybe for me, it's not a smell. But have you found the same? That's what. Yeah. Have you found?
Yeah, and that's funny that you say that because the girl I was telling you about earlier that had come from Costa Rica into Nicaragua, that was another thing she kept commenting on was how clean it was there. So I think people do perceive that or think that it's not going to be. So that's interesting. And what I see, like, even especially in the little small communities, and, they don't have a lot, but they're out there, they take pride of their space, like in front of
That's
their
it.
businesses and things. They're watering it down to keep the dust down, and they're, sweeping in front of their little business or whatever. And so I love to see that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, my neighbors here now, we have a home in York, very nice little street, Rockdale. And my neighbors laugh sometimes because they say, your wife is the only person who comes out and sweeps the street in front of the house every evening. I mean, it's just their way. It's
Right.
wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
So it's
It's awesome.
fantastic. Well, this is great. I'm glad you're on the way back. I'm glad you had a nice visit back to the States. And I'm glad you're on the way home. On the way
I know.
home.
I'm
And
excited. I have 3 dogs that are going to be really excited to see me, and I've brought back some treats for them. I did bring, I'm a Texas girl. I brought me back a pair of red boots for these rodeos in Nicaragua, so I'm excited about that.
well, you're you're definitely going to stand out now, not only for being a gringo, but for having the red boots. So, Leslie, thank you. This has been terrific, and we'll do it again next week.
I look forward to it.
Nicaragua.
I'll be
Excellent.
back
Thank you.
home. See
Thank
y'all
you. You'll
later.
be home.
Bye.
Wonderful. Wonderful. There you go, folks. Just yet another great visit. I love it because Leslie gives you insights on real life in Nicaragua, particularly if you decide to buy in a residential resort community. There's all kinds of options. So pick the one you want and let's do this thing.